49ers bought a soccer team or bought a big ownership stake in a soccer team recently. Yeah. That soccer team, Leeds United, just qualified for the Premier League. They won the championship in their lower level league and qualified for the Premier League, which is big time. It's big time, John.
Yeah.
And is a wild financial success for the 49ers. So they clearly hit a home run with this investment. And I think we've given Jed York a lot of credit in recent years, right? He has not held on to coaches that were clearly the wrong coach too long, has paid Jim Tomsula to go away, paid Chip Kelly a lot of money to go away, then didn't go, well, I got to wait a couple years and build my money back up the way you have to wait on NBA Jam for the turbo to build back up on a player. He doubled back down. I'm going to chase this mistake with more money. Just paid Kyle, then paid Kyle again. I mean, they clearly have been one of the wealthier, richer, money flow organizations in the NFL, but I mean, this only makes them more successful. Pretty cool.
I don't pretend to know anything about Leeds United, honestly, until yesterday. I was just answering some unanswered DMs, and someone said, I looked in there like, what do you think about Jed investing into this Leeds? Did you see they just went to the Premier League? He was like, #cha-ching. I'm like, I didn't know what you're talking about. So I text a couple people with the Niners, and they said yes. It was pretty sweet. And then if you go, I started following them on Twitter. Parag had sent them like a video congratulating them from the 49ers. He's on the board. I asked around, like, what happened to I don't know the number of the investment. I just asked, like, what did that going to because you just say they go from a smaller league to the Premier League. If I just had to guess, minimum triple your investment, I wasn't high enough. It was 4 to 5. And it's just, and if they stay in the Premier League, as someone that gambles on soccer, and I would say most casual sports fan in America now know what the Premier League is. And I think we can grasp the economic power of that league, right? You see the numbers getting floated around for their star players when guys are bought and traded and purchased and all the shit that goes down. It's bigger than the NFL over there, right? In the main league, in terms of the money that's going around. The value of Manchester United is always right there with like the Yankees and the fucking Giants, right? Or the Cowboys. Is that you got to give Jed some credit. Whoever their financial investments, they were clearly very aggressive on Silicon Valley. They have diversified their funds because you would say if they just didn't focus on anything else, just Levi Stadium and their team, they'd be in great shape. They'd be making huge profits every year. And just even the Taylor Swifts and everyone coming in there, they have clearly kind of sprinkled in other places. And this is one of those that could pay out dramatically. If you're 30% of a team in the Premier League and they start doing well, that's going to be a huge revenue stream. I just see some of the numbers. I watched Man City on Netflix. Like, these things give huge kickbacks and dividends to the fucking people that own it. The people that own it, guy, are the Jerry Joneses of the world, right? Of the Glazer families, of the Cronkies. These people that own these teams aren't just like, oh, the guy's worth $2 billion. Every time I check, it's like they're worth $15 billion. Like, they're in that club. It's not like hit the $1 billion club. It's no, I hit the $17 billion club. Right? I was playing golf, and buddy Scotty Raber, who actually just joined a DraftKings game, was like, or maybe Tyler said this, that Warren Buffett and Jeff Bezos were given a combined interview, and I guess someone asked him in the interview, like, do you guys often talk about, you know, how you guys are competing to be the wealthiest people in the kind of the wealth country club you're in? And I guess Warren Buffett's like, well, of course we do. You know, I mean, what do you think brings us together, right? And you just become in this club of the Niners alone, or probably if we just did the open market for NFL teams, they would immediately be a top 4 or 5 team on the market. And
if I told you they're available right now, what would they sell for? $5 billion?
Like a legit open bidding? Yeah. I mean, it would be, when you think about the bidders,
well, what would Amazon pay for them?
But let's even just say, what's his name? The guy that owns Salesforce, Benioff. Some of these guys. Part of it is
Ellison.
This house by my mom's house, right outside of where she lives in Davis, is like this big compound. It's kind of right before all the farm ground starts. And he's about to put it for sale because he's moving into kind of this area where my mom lives. And I was like, God, Jeff, who's he going to sell to my brother? And he's like, I think he's going to put him in the market for $4 or $5 million. I say, it's Davis, California. Who the fuck is going to pay $5 million for a home? And he's like, yeah, it's probably going to be difficult to sell. Well, when you sell something like that in Silicon Valley or in LA, it's much easier. There's a lot longer list of clientele. If you put the Niners up for sale, just the people in a 10-mile radius that have bank accounts
who
that
don't have to
legitimately
move to own a team.
Yeah, they could call Roger and be like, yeah, I financially qualify. Could I pay cash or do you want stock options? And I think Jed or whoever's, I don't know if it's all him, but the people he's put around him, what they're investing in, like if I tell you 5 years ago or 3 years ago, I invested in a soccer team and they're now in the Premier League, no one can argue that's a fantastic investment, right?
Well, they hadn't been in the Premier League in almost 20 years, and you were telling me one thing you read was they were a pretty bad organization for a while until they got taken over. I was reading that the chairman of the team is this Italian guy named Rod Razzani.
The Niner source described them to me, and this wasn't a shot. This is actually a compliment.
I can't
like the
believe you say
Raiders.
this.
Like the Raiders. They're a sleeping giant.
Okay.
Now, I think you could say that about like USC football, right? Whatever. I mean, you could say that about a lot of things. That's, to me, having a big upside as a company, as a franchise, to me is a positive thing, right?
Well, I mean, the NFL is a salary cap league, but as we've seen, the owners with money find other ways to affect their franchises. But this guy, Rod Razzani, I think is how you say his last name. And by the way, to hardcore soccer people out there, feel free to correct us on some of this stuff. But I'm reading this like a Premier League blog that says there's some reports out there that this guy, he's ready to kind of cash in on his investment now that this team is going to be worth a lot more money, and that the Niners, of all the other groups that have ownership stake in this team, the Niners are the front runners to take over the majority ownership stake now that this guy might be ready to go.
The article I was forwarded last night by people with the Niners, he was quoted in that a bunch. He pushed back on that,
okay,
and claimed, like, I want to do this for another 10 plus years.
Gotcha.
Like, I want to be, as we go to the Premier League, be a big part of it. But
well, we're just here for soccer rumors, John.
Yeah, rumors are out there that could the Niners and Jed become a majority stakeholder in a Premier League team? Like, that puts them in that Glazer kind of Kroenke category, right? Like, that's a big fucking deal. There's just no way around it, right? You own a Premier League team. Even as a minority owner, that's a cash cow. If you have the opportunity are in position whenever, because is it kind of clear that this guy's not going to be there forever? If the rumors are out there that he's going to make a lot of money, if I tell you the 49ers are a majority stakeholder in a team that's playing all these top teams, now I never quite like. Do they play Manchester United? Do they play Man City? Do they not play? I don't know.
Yeah, those teams are in the Premier League. You can fall out of the Premier League and in this, get relegated. Or in this case, get promoted. So, yeah, they're playing the big boys.
Big deal. I'd like to see Jed go get a Messi then.
Yeah, or
Pulisic.
Pulisic, yeah, the American guy. Let's get that guy. Let's get that guy, John.
Yeah. Come on, Jed.
Can't wait to bet on Leeds United in the next Premier League on my bookie. So,
would you move if Jed said, "Do you want to be the voice of Leeds United?" Would you move to England tomorrow? Or would you have to do some more research on the upside?
Yeah, the beauty is like, well, if do you just get in the Premier League for 1 year? Is that how that works?
Well, see, I don't know.
I think you have to fight for your life every year. I'm pretty sure that is how it works. I'm positive, actually. Well,
I remember watching the show. Like, even the big boys, like, you can't just go through the motions and stay. That's what makes the league so powerful.
Yeah.
Now, I think, at least, again, not a soccer guy here, when you kind of cook the books is a wrong statement. When you stack the deck, it's just hard for Chelsea, Man City, Man United. Their teams are just way better typically, right?
Right.
They're not going to lose to a lot of inferior teams in the league, so it's hard for them to get the boot. But clearly, like, is that what you get when you win?
No, I think that isn't the Golden Boot like an award for like the World Cup MVP or something?
What's the Hawaii Fresno State?
The Golden Screwdriver?
Oh, that's okay. Yeah. I remember seeing like Ronaldo drink out of something.
Messi has 6 European Golden Shoe Awards, John. So
yeah,
just know this is going to become a soccer podcast pretty soon.
Listen, I transitioned to golf and soccer.
We have.
See the ratings.
Yep.